What is good, YouTube? Now, before we get started in today's video, let me be the first person to say thank you to the people who are liking, subscribing, commenting down on my videos. You have no idea how much it means to me, how much I love to see it, how much I love to interact. I make these videos for you and I love creating content like this. So if you like what I'm putting out, keep on liking, keep on subscribing, and we are going to go the distance. Now, if you are new to this channel, let me be the first one to say welcome to the family. I enjoy having each and connecting with each person that I can. If you don't know me, my name is Javon, but no worries, you are going to get to know a lot about me in today's video. Today, the topic of conversation is going to be escaping the rat race and how that desire has pushed me to become the investor that I am today. I'm going to be talking about my fears, my desires, my insights, my experience, and so much more in this video. So please stick around. There's going to be a lot of good content coming your way. Now, if you're interested in anything that I have to say, then don't go nowhere. We're about to go ahead and dive right in. All right, so the first thing that we have to clear up is what exactly is the rat race. If we take the time to go to Google and we type in what is the rat race, then we're going to get a definition from Wikipedia saying that the rat race is an endless, self-defeating, pointless pursuit. Now, to me personally, I see the rat race as the constant desire to acquire debt. And then as we acquire debt in life, we are constantly faced with the desire to pay off that debt. And it's like a constant cycle. And it's so funny because people celebrate moments of debt, making the fall into acquiring debt so much harder to see. If you think about it, a lot of the things that we do in life require us going into debt into some type of way. Matter of fact, let's just go ahead and break it down. This part is going to be called the setup. All right, so I'm calling it the setup because it's so smooth, and a lot of people, I mean millions of people, including me at some point, I couldn't see what was happening, right? Because at each and every point of our life, some form of acquiring debt is celebrated. So if we think about growing up as we got older and we get closer to turning 16, what happens at 16? At 16, people naturally want to get a car because they can start driving, and they don't want any car, they want the best car. They want they want to outdo their friends, right? So if you're in that position in life to where you can get a car, boom, you got a car. And if you can't get a car, then you're left with that desire on the inside, that burning, well, I can't get this now, so the first moment I can get it, I'm gonna go ahead and jump on it. After you turn 16, the next step that we step into is college. And this is especially with the newer generations, millennials and Generation Z. College has been pushed and forced down our throat. If we want to get a good job, if we want to have a good life, if we want to have a family or anything like that, all of that starts and stops and revolves around going to college and getting a degree. And that's the second trap, because that, just like getting a car is celebrated, going to college and graduating is celebrated too. And these aren't necessarily bad things, right? But they are things that require us to take out debt or consume debt with other people who are giving us that sort of freedom. So when we go buy a car, we have to go to the bank. When we go to college, we have to go to the government. We have to go to different banks and say, hey, give us money and we'll pay you back later. So going to college is the second step. That's like the second thing that you missed. After college, man, you just graduated, you feeling like you're on top of your game. What next? Well, go ahead and reward yourself. If you couldn't get that car at 16, or even if you got a car at 16, now's the time to trade up. You're a big person now, right? You got your big boy, big girl job. You can go ahead and afford it. You got it. So what do? You buy that nice used BMW that you've been looking at, or you buy that nice sports car. It only costs like $30,000, no worries. But you acquire more debt under you, and you keep on progressing in life that way. The next parts are so simple that it's really hard to see these parts too, because then you meet somebody, you fall in love, and after a while being together, y'all decide to get married. Marriages, if you look up the average amount that a person will spend on marriage, not including a ring, thousands of dollars. After you get married, you go on your honeymoon, thousands of dollars. You've been together for a while, you want to raise a kid, okay, cool. that costs money too. And once you have a kid, you realize that the place where you're staying at is too small. Now you need a bigger place, so you got to go buy a bigger place. And after that point, you are spending the rest of your life trying to pay back the debt that you borrowed from, while also still having a good life. So the setup is smooth because at every point, all of those things are celebrated. You get a new car, people are lit. You go to college, people are excited. You get your job, people are thrilled. Wedding, everybody's throwing rice at you, smiling, laughing. The kids, everything is funny and sunshine. And big house, like no one posts to Instagram talking about I got a house and everyone's like, oh, that's horrible. No, you post you got a house, people are excited, they are thrilled for you. But right now, that progression in life that everyone is so excited for, that also comes with falling into the trap, falling into the system of now I gotta work hard, not to get ahead to where I want in life, but to pay back what I borrowed. Not only do you have to pay back what you borrowed, you also have to have the foresight to see into the future and prepare for the future as well. So I like to say that people are constantly in the state of looking back and also preparing for the future always at the same time, because when you're looking back, you're always paying back the loans that you took out, whether you're paying on your house, whether you're paying on your car, your student loans, preparing for your kids to go to school. All of that stuff is based on the actions that you made in the past. And at the same time, you have to look into the future and say, hey, at some point in time, I would like to retire. I would like to slow things down. So how do I not only pay for the past, keep up with the present, but how do I set aside something so that way I can live off of in the future as well? So we're always stuck in these three different places based on how we go through life. In that sense, I always like to compare people to being in a constant state of preparing for hibernation, right? So you get a squirrel, and squirrels don't necessarily hibernate, but they prepare for the winter. And when they prepare for the winter, all they have to do is they have to gather enough nuts, they have to gather enough food, so that way they don't starve in this period of time. And that's basically what retirement is, right? We are stacking away money. We're putting money to the side coming out from our main check. So we're stacking away money, hoping that later on in the future when we need that money, what we stacked away is going to last us for the rest of our lives, as long as we live. And that's basically what retirement is. Retirement isn't an age. Retirement is more of a goal. It's more of a, hey, once I amass this amount of money, then this amount of money should last me hopefully 10, 20 years. And humans only live up to a certain point. So I'm working up till here. I have enough money to go along the rest of the way. And that's what we call retirement. So knowing all that now, looking back when I was 22, right? I just graduated college. I was 22, I was making some money, and I was kind of bummed out. I'm not gonna lie to you. And the reason I was bummed out was because I was so used to being ready for the next phase of life. And the next phases of life always happen so quickly. So when you're young, the next phases of life is going to the next grade. You're first grader, second grader, third grader, boom, middle school, boom, high school. That's cool. I'm always making progression. With college, even going to college, that was still a progression because I'm a sophomore going into my junior year, going into my senior year, I'm getting an internship. Those were states of progression. Those were things I could work towards. But then when I turned 22 and I got a job, I looked around. I remember looking around at everyone around me and thinking, so this is for the next 40 years, this is what we do? And it was crazy to me because, I don't know, just to think of yourself being in a constant state for 40 years without having a way to get out of that state, something about that just didn't settle right. And I remember though, even though it didn't settle right, everyone was doing it. Every adult was doing it. All I heard was, hey, just save up for retirement and just do the best that you can throughout this phase of life. Make sure you enjoy all the moments that come to you. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong about going through life this way, but I just felt like there was something more. I just didn't know what exactly or how I could get there. So for a while I accepted it. I started putting money down in my 401k and just that, right? I didn't look at any other terms of investment. I just thought, hey, if I just save this way, then I will be good 40 years from now. I will be ready to make that jump into retirement, and boom, there's life. And when you say it like that, it sounds kind of sad, or at least for me. What pushed me out of that though was by reading. Ever since I was a kid, I had always loved reading books. So I remember I'm 22, I'm working this job. I'm still in college because I'm getting my master's at the same time, but I'm working full time as well. And I'm staying with my grandma, so I'm not paying any money towards rent. I am making a lot of money. So I started asking my aunties and my uncles, hey, what should I do? How should I invest this? I started reading books. They suggested some books that I read. And then I came across this book. It was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And the way Robert Kiyosaki, the writer of the book, talked about investing and how if you do things right, you can kind of escape from the rat race. You can escape from the constant paying back debt. It was just something magical to me because I had never heard of anything like that. I didn't even know that something like that was possible. But the thing is, in a lot of cases, it's possible, but it's always better if you start young, because some of that requires risk, right? Like, so to be able to do anything great, it's going to come with risk aside. So once you have a wife or a husband, once you have a spouse, once you have some kids, once you have a car and a house and some dependents under you, you got people, you got obligations to these government facilities to pay back whatever you owed, and you got obligations to the people that you are walking through life with or that you bought into life. You got obligations to take care of them. And that obligation relies on you collecting a check. And that's what's so hard about risk. The moment you put your risk, the moment you put collecting a check to the side, it's not just you. So when you're young, while I'm young, it's a little bit easier to say, hey, I see what's going on. I see what things life is laying out for me, but I don't want to go that route. I'd rather step to the side and see if I can make something happen over here while it's just me by myself. And I know that, like, no matter at what point and stage you are in life, you can still do those things. But it's at that point, if it's not just you, then it's not just you. If you have any kids, if you have a spouse, if you have any type of debt that's calling your name or any type of obligation that's depending on you, then it makes it a little harder versus me just jumping out, seeing what I got to do and trying to implement that now. So after reading and after doing all that research, watching all these videos and listening to the podcasts that I listen to, the next thing that I had to realize upon myself is that I don't want to fall into the rat race. And I'm not saying that being in the rat race is wrong. I'm not saying that you can't have a wonderful life. I just realized at that point that that wasn't a life I wanted to live. I didn't want to live a life where if my employer decided that they didn't want me anymore and they cut me off, then I couldn't go forth and do anything else. So instead, what I am focusing on right now at this point in time in my life is using my regular way of making money and using that to fund my investments, to fund my ideas, to fund my passions. And hopefully those things that I'm investing in right now will pay off later on in life. So I am excited to share this journey with you guys. If you check out my channel, I'm going to be sharing a lot with you, whether it's real estate, whether it's investing in stocks, whether it's new concepts and ideas, just everything that I go through, I'm going to be sharing it with you guys. And I hope and I pray that you like what I'm sharing. Not only do I hope that you like what I share, I hope that you learn from it. I hope that every mistake that I make, I can document it and share it with you, because every time I trip, that's another obstacle that someone doesn't have to fall over. And the more people I can help, the more people I can reach out to, I consider that something that is worthwhile doing. So, hey, this is the end of this video. Hopefully you learned a lot about me. But if you have any questions, then I challenge you to go down to the comment section down below, right down there, and just leave me your thoughts, leave me your ideas. What are you doing in life? How are you navigating through things? Are you going through the rat race? Are you thinking about escaping it? What type of challenges have you gone through? I challenge each and every one of you to go ahead, leave me a comment, and I will definitely get back to you. Now, we are at the end of this video, but if you liked what you saw, then please check out the rest of my content, and also do me a huge favor and hit that like button down below and subscribe to the channel. It helps me with the YouTube algorithm get my content out to more people, so that way I can help and reach more people as well. We are at the end, but I enjoyed sharing this part of myself with you guys. So that's all. Peace, love, and happiness.